We need to talk about hot dogs and sandwiches. Jose, why don't you start this topic?
Well, if you're saying that I'm starting the topic, everyone's going to think I'm the one that's taking the wrong side. All right, ladies and gents. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Is it? We've had this conversation. But I've seen this conversation forever. And who was one player that started it? Drum roll, Dante Pettis.
It was Dante Pettis. If people don't remember, during training camp, they usually do like once a week, just mic'd up sessions from camp, like a minute and a half. And one day Dante Pettis was mic'd up because he was supposed to be the number 1 wide receiver last season. And what he did that whole day was go around to every coach and player he could and ask, do you think, no, it might've been, no, I don't think it was. I think it was something about forks and spoons in sports, man.
Yes.
It was forks and spoons, right?
If
you could never use one of a fork, spoon, or knife again, what would it be? That was what it was. If you could never use one of a fork, spoon, or knife ever again, what would it be? Okay, so forget the hot dog. We're talking about forks and spoons. And the reason we want to talk about that is because it was an insight into Dante Pettis' psyche. He's a very interesting person.
Yeah.
He has talent, but he's clinging to his career by a thread because of stuff like this, in my opinion. He's not the most dialed in to his profession compared to other teammates from what I've seen, but he's also a very interesting person who seems to think deep. So I'm not writing him off just yet. What do you guys make of Dante Pettis, and what do you think his future holds?
So you're knocking him because he doesn't post-workout videos every day, like Kendrick Bourne? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, that's the reason I'm knocking him.
Deal breaker. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Leo.
Like I said in it, with you guys earlier, I wish I was a fly on the wall when John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan were interviewing him pre-draft.
Yes.
Like, what was that conversation like? Was he asking about the hot dog? Was he asking about the fork and spoon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, what was going on? Like, would they ask him a question like on a route tree, and then he took it to some whole other level talking about cats or something? Yeah. I don't know. He's an interesting player. He has all the talent, athletic ability. It's insane. We saw it his rookie year. And I thought to myself recently, would he fill that Emmanuel with Debo out right now? Like, could he do those routes that Emmanuel did last year? He didn't really go over the middle much. It was more comeback routes, little short digs that Jimmy hit him quick outs. So he stayed away from the majority of the linebackers. But then I noticed some in the Super Bowl where like Tyrann Mathieu just smacked him a couple times. And I thought to myself, would Dante Pettis hold on to that?
No.
Probably not.
No.
So,
Didn't we see an instant of that? Actually, the Pittsburgh game?
Oh, that was a nice hit.
Didn't he get like smacked and then he just like dropped it, or didn't he turn into a pick or something like that?
Yeah, that's true. Over the middle. Yep, that's right.
Pettis, like he could have held on to it. I mean, that's why when he scored the game winner, he's like, oh, he made up for it. Bygones be bygones.
True.
Now. So I mean, there goes our answer right there.
What I would say.
Go ahead, Leo.
What I would say is, I think they're done with Richie James. I think it's time to move on.
Done.
And I think if Pettis is on the roster, they can't really find a trade that they like.
Yeah.
He should 100% be their return man. Put him in open space. He did it in college and he did it really well. I just don't see him going through the middle and fitting this offense because that's what it's built on, is inside the numbers, and he can't take a hit. And he's scared to take a hit.
He's just such a poor fit with Jimmy Garoppolo because Garoppolo's so comfortable throwing those passes over the middle. And I've seen it with Dante since his first mini camp practice in 2018. He alligator arms catches balls over the middle. He just does. And that doesn't mean he's a worthless wide receiver. He can get open down the field. He runs beautiful double moves. But for whatever reason, I think what the Niners were looking for in wide receivers changed fundamentally from 2018 to 2019. And maybe that's because they hired Wes Welker. Maybe because I know the position coaches do a lot of the scouting. And maybe it's just Welker's preference is to have stronger wide receivers. Because Dante Pettis, he does a lot of things well, but he's not running over anyone. And every wide receiver they've taken since then is much more muscled up. Guys who can actually create yards after contact like running backs.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. He would fit more in a Garrett point.
Yes,
that's a good point about Welker.
I think that must be it.
Yeah, I think, you know what? Yeah, it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. It definitely probably plays a factor, at least to a certain degree. Because I mean, look, how many players can you say, oh, you can go in the slot and get some yak and take a hit? You can do literally everyone. Like there's not really that's why it's kind of hard for me to see, is Travis Benjamin going to make the team? I mean, I know he gives them that vertical threat. I know he's that veteran presence, but I mean, it's like he's that one player that doesn't fit that mold, that wide receiver offensive mold that we want to go inwards and not so much outwards and deep too much.
Well, it might come down to Benjamin or Pettis, because if you're going to have one downfield threat on the team, those are the two guys. Benjamin averages 15 yards a catch. So does Pettis for their career. So maybe you pick one, and maybe the Niners go with Pettis because they're invested in him. They drafted him. He's young, but Benjamin's probably better than him.
Yeah, at this point, because I mean, as much as Benjamin's been injured his last 2-3 years tops, but when he's out there, he does damage. You know, he's not an elite receiver or he's that great, but he's solid. You know, in the role that the Niners can provide for him. You know, because I mean, even like years prior when I was like covering for the Raiders, stuff like that, I watching Travis Benjamin dust the Raiders multiple times. This guy, like, I mean, he's very fluid out there, and at least if you keep him out there, you'll keep the defense somewhat honest. They'll probably play him like true at first, and you know, maybe they won't cheat over or do anything like that because they want to see like let's see if this guy's hammy is going to stay intact on this route first, and then over time, let's see if he actually stays afloat.
I think he's better than Marquise Goodwin. I do.
Off top. What was Goodwin good for? Just other than running straight, he couldn't do anything with his breaks. He couldn't in-cut too well. Didn't really have the greatest hands. It was just pretty much just all right, run straight. I mean, the fact that his value was taken to be as a gunner on punt return / punt cover, that said more about anything that any of us can elaborate to.
Also, on a team like this where you're not even like defenses, that's the last person you're going to be worried about is Travis Benjamin. If you go heavy, like 22 personnel with 2 tight ends and 2 running backs and do an aggressive play fake, Benjamin's the kind of guy who can just get wide open because the defense forgets about him. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how he does in training camp if there is a training camp.
Really quick, what I was going to say on that is you don't want to be too one-dimensional as well.
True.
You're going to have a defense. If you have no one that could run deep, they're all going to be within, 15 yards? At least with Benjamin, he's going to be able to take that safety over top and have him there to where you could have a guy like Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Aiyuk do that over the middle route, and then now they're able to get more yak because now the safety is 15 yards downfield rather than being right there and getting the tackle immediately. That's what he provides.
I like that. No,
for sure. That's why you keep it Benjamin. Like as much, it's like, all right, you can cut him and it won't really like hurt you at all.
Right.
It's just it's a nice little wrinkle, you know. Otherwise, it's like, hey, 20 yards and under, that's their offense. You know, don't worry about anything other than that. Then you see Benjamin, they're okay, we got to keep an eye on it. But maybe they do try seeing if they don't keep Pettis, seeing if someone else is capable of just going out there, not consistently or constantly, but just like, hey, they know Benjamin's going to go here, but hey, I don't know, just for conversation, say, hey, Bourne, you're going to go deep after he goes deep, and then we're just going to like psych them out. Like, I don't know. Can't Shannon's brain to that degree in terms of deep, because obviously otherwise I'd be a coach, but that's something that's definitely he could play the idea with.
I'm just curious to see what kind of speed Aiyuk has, because people saying that he's faster than he showed at the combine. He had an injury. I'm curious to see because if he has like Emmanuel Sanders speed, then they don't need Travis Benjamin. But really watching him on tape at Arizona State, I didn't notice him just dusting people down the sideline. On the other hand, the Niners really don't run that route or throw that pass very much. When they go deep, it's usually like a post route or something over the middle. So maybe Aiyuk will be the guy. I don't know. I'm really eager to see him in camp. I'm just curious to see if that's ever going to happen. I have a feeling that the team might just push it back or pause it, or I don't know. I don't even want to ask you guys to predict the future because what's the point? It just seems like training camp and preseason that they can almost push it back or cancel it entirely and see what happens in September. But
are they going to give you those no swaps as well?
I've already had one, man. It's awful. It doesn't hurt, but it's awful. All right, let's take some questions. If you guys have some questions for us, drop it in the chat section and we will answer them. We've been going on for about a half an hour. We can do about 10 more minutes. Unless you ain't got no questions, because we've pretty much covered everything. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
They pretty much hit the nail on the head in terms of that. I mean, unless someone here wants to admit that they do think a hot dog is a sandwich.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, this was cool. Let's plan on. We'll let you guys know, but next Thursday or Friday we're gonna do another one. All right, and we're gonna have probably more writers with us next time.
Yes, sounds good.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate you all.